The Federal Trade Commission is in front of me. And, of course, the Capitol's back there. This entire route is 1.5 miles, as you guys know. And everyone hopes the President and the First Lady will get out and walk where they are. They usually get out at Freedom Plaza. Hi, how are you? How are you? But we're hoping they're going to get out here. So 1.5 miles. These people have been out here for a long time. We'll be here. If they get out here, I'll be here. We're going to go back to Wolf Blitzer right now. Wolf, take it away.
Thanks very much, Don. Take a look at, you're looking at live pictures, the president hugging Senator Patrick Leahy, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. They've wrapped up this luncheon, apparently. There's going to be some toasts. There's an official presentation of the photograph as well. The president has been going from table to table. He's been saying hello to various folks. Looks like he's speaking. Is that the Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right in the left part of the career? Jeffrey Toobin is with the, and Kate Baldwin is there. There's Nancy Pelosi sitting as well. But the president, as he did 4 years ago, Jeffrey, he's going from table to table. He's greeting folks. He's saying hello. You know, he's been criticized a little bit for not supposedly schmoozing enough with members of Congress. There's Kathleen Sebelius, the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Members of his cabinet are inside the room, as well as the Republican and Democratic leadership and others. You can see the head table over there, the Vice President, Joe Biden, sitting there with Dr. Jill Biden.
That's actually a very interesting lunch pairing right there.
What's nice, Jeffrey, is that you have all three branches of government at this luncheon on Capitol Hill right now.
It's wonderful. And it was actually a very sad occasion 4 years ago, because both Senator Edward Kennedy and Senator Robert...
The chairman of the Inauguration Committee, Chuck Schumer of New York, is going to be speaking now. Let's listen in because he's going to be delivering a toast.
I hope everyone has enjoyed the lunch. I think we really deserve a round of applause to our chef and our caterer, all the people who served the meal so expertly. They've done a great job. So it is now my honor to invite the Speaker of the House, the John Boehner, to the podium to present the official flags.
Senator, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Old Hall of the House. The people's representatives met in this chamber over 5 decades prior to the Civil War. And so wonder they actually made it here that long. And see, the acoustics were terrible. You just couldn't hear anything. Or in some spots, you could hear everything that was being said in the room. To make it was a mess. And of course, it was also at a time when our leaders weren't hearing each other all that well to begin with. But here it's a century and a half and many architectural improvements later, and we gather in the old hall to better hear one another and to renew the appeal to better angels. We do so amid the rituals and symbols of unity, none more important than our flag. This year, Old Glory will mark a milestone of her own. It was the spring of 1813 that the new commander at Fort McHenry ordered a flag to be flown over the entrance to Baltimore Harbor. It should be so large, he said, that the British will have no difficulty in seeing it from a distance. For such an enormous banner, a mother and daughter team had to stitch together overlapping strips of wool to make the product whole. From many, one. So a grand flag was born, and not long after that, an anthem to go with it. Today, whenever we put out the flag, whenever we hear it snapping in the wind, it gives us proof of the blessing that we call democracy. This symphony of service and faithfulness in which we will all play a part. So in the spirit of harmony, I'm proud to present the flags that flew over this battalion of democracy today to President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden. And to you, gentlemen, I say congratulations and Godspeed.
I am now pleased to introduce my friend and colleague and partner in this inaugural endeavor, Senator Lamar Alexander, to the podium to present the official photographs.
Thanks, Chuck. Mr. President and Michelle, Mr. Vice President and Jill, President Mrs. Clinton, President Mrs. Carter, Mr. Chief Justice. One former president who's not here today, Honey and I were sitting next to him, George H.W. Bush and Barbara, a few years ago, and before he got up to speak, he leaned over and said to Barbara, "Barbara, what should I speak about?" And she said in a very loud whisper, "About 5 minutes, George." I'll take about 1 minute. There will probably come a time, Mr. President and Mrs. Obama, and to the Bidens, when your children are trying to explain to their grandchildren that this day actually happened. And if those great-grandchildren don't believe it, we have pictures. And these pictures are for you, and we wish you the best as you work for that common good that Mr. Cortez spoke about in the invocation, and as you so eloquently talked about in your description of the American character today.
Okay, I would now like to introduce the distinguished Majority Leader of the House of Representatives, Eric Cantor, to present the Lennox inaugural gifts.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, it's my honor to present the President and Mrs. Obama, Vice President and Dr. Biden with these beautiful crystal vases. The vases are of the finest quality, full lead crystal from Lennox China and Crystal. The images of the United States Capitol and the White House are hand-cut and etched into the crystal. The crystal bases on which the vases sit are inscribed with the name of the recipient and today's date. President Obama, Mrs. Obama will receive the vase depicting the White House. Vice President Dr. Biden will receive the vase depicting the United States Capitol. The vases were designed by Timothy Carter and hand-cut by master glass cutter Peter O'Rourke. At this time, my wife Diana and I invite the President, Mrs. Obama, and Vice President Dr. Biden to join us in looking at the beautiful vases.
Okay, I am now pleased to invite my colleague, House Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi, to the podium to present the mementos that you all will receive as you leave Statuary Hall.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman Schumer and Co-Chair, Vice Chair Alexander, for a wonderful, wonderful inauguration. Mr. President, Mr. President, First Lady, First Lady, First Lady, Dr. Biden, to all of our distinguished guests. So far, you've heard of gifts to the President and the Vice President. I'll tell you about a gift for you. Freedom now stands on the dome of the Capitol of the United States. May she stand there forever, not only in form, but in spirit. Those were the words that were expressed 150 years ago by the Commissioner of Public Buildings as the Statue of Freedom was placed atop the Capitol during the presidency of President Lincoln. That expression of the spirit of freedom is what we want you to take with you today and is contained in this portfolio of essays you will receive from the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, along with a framed depiction of the Capitol as it appeared at the start of the Civil War. You heard it well described by Chairman Schumer during his remarks. Today, the Statue of Freedom and that spirit of freedom watches over the Capitol as another president from Illinois has taken the oath of office. Despite the challenges of our time at home and abroad, we heard in President Obama's inaugural address a message of hope, a vision of peace, progress and prosperity, and the promise of freedom for all. May God bless you, President Obama, Vice President Biden, and your families. Congratulations with wishes for much success for you, for that is the success of our nation. May God bless you all. May God bless America. Enjoy your memento of the occasion.
Mr. President and Dr. Biden and your whole wonderful family, I now rise to toast the Vice President of the United States and my former colleague and my friend, Joe Biden. Mr. Vice President, you have been an extraordinary leader of this nation and a true partner to our President these past 4 years. You play many roles: advisor, advocate, implementer, persuader, strategist, and most important of all, friend. We're confident this unique partnership between you and our great president will only grow stronger and more productive over the next 4 years. Mr. Vice President, on the surface, we don't share a common ancestry, but on a deeper level, we do share a common story, an American story, of achieving our dreams thanks to the sacrifice of our immigrant forebears. As you embark on your well-deserved second term, in the spirit of those who came before us, and on behalf of all Americans, we offer you all our support and warmest wishes, and we say to you, Sláinte, L'chaim, Salute, Chendan, and cheers to our great Vice President.